So now we are going to take an equation and we're going to write it in standard form. So here's an example. Y equals negative 1/4 x squared plus 3x plus 6. Okay, so here's where we hopefully remember a bit about completing the square. And so here's how this works. Y equals negative 1/4. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a parenthetical statement here that is x squared minus 12x plus 6. So what I've done here is I've said, what do I divide by or multiply by 1/4, negative 1/4 here to get 3? So if I multiply negative 12 by 1/4, then I would get positive 3. So I need to break this up. I need the x squared and the x to be inside parentheses like this. And so this negative 1/4 here that's on the outside is being multiplied by this x squared, and then also it's being multiplied by this negative 12x to get 3x. So that's how I got this. Now what I need to do is I need to find out what is half of 12. Half of 12 is negative 6. And then I need to square that. So negative 6 squared is 36. And I want to add 36 here. All right, so let's figure this out. 1/4 x squared minus 12x plus 36 plus 6. Okay, now I've added 36 in here, and in algebra we know what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side of the equation. And so I need to add 36 over here. But it's not just 36. It's 36 times negative 1/4. So times negative 1/4. So I've added 36 in here. I also need to add it. Add it to this side. So what I do to one side, I do to the other. This is 36 times negative 1/4. So I need to add 36 times negative 1/4 to this other side of the equation. All right, it's a little bit tricky, but it's okay. All right, so let's keep going. Now, this is a perfect square. This in the parentheses here, so I've got negative 1/4 times this is x minus 6. Remember this minus 6 that we found? Squared. So if I were to FOIL this, x minus 6 times x minus 6, I would get x squared minus 12x plus 36. And then don't forget this plus 6 over here. Now, now this was y plus 36, right? Now what's 36 times negative 4? That'll get me negative 9, right? And I want y by itself. Or do I want y by itself? Yeah, of course I do. All right. Add 9 to each side. So now I'm back to y equals negative 1/4 x minus 6 squared plus 15. Whew. Okay, we're almost there. Now, here's see how this one is the squared one? The one that's squared, this wants to be alone. So remember, in our standard form, we have y plus 5 squared equals all of this mess. X minus h squared equals all of this mess. So the part that's squared wants to be by itself. So let's let it be by itself. So what I need to do here is I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. So I've got y minus 15 equals negative 1/4 x minus 6 squared. Now, how do I get rid of this? I need to multiply both sides by negative negative 4. Negative 4. That'll make this be a positive 1, so times negative 4. So now what I'm going to do is I've got negative 4 times 5 minus 15, y minus 15 equals x minus 6 squared. I'm almost all done. What I want to do here, though, to put this in standard form is I want the squared part to be on the left, and I want the non-squared part to be on the right. So I'm just going to switch them. X minus 6 squared equals negative 4 times y minus 15. And that is my final answer. So I think the hardest part of this is doing this, completing the square mess here. And if that is, if you're having trouble with that, make sure to watch some Khan Academy video or something like that to learn more about completing the square. Now we're going to keep going on with this section here. And we are going to write equations. So we're going to get certain information, and we're going to be asked to write the equation for the parabola that matches that information. So here's an example. My focus is 3, negative 4, and my vertex is 1, negative 4. So I need to write the equation. For me, I like to draw the graph. It helps me write the equation if I draw the graph. So my vertex is 1, negative 4. There's my vertex. And my focus is 3, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, oh, negative 4 is right there. So if that's my focus, then I know that my parabola opens this way. And I can see the difference between here is 2, so my p-value is 2. The distance between the vertex and the focus is 2, so my p-value is 2. Alright, so I think I have pretty good information here. If it's opening to the left or the right, then I know that I'm going to have y over here, because if y is squared, then it opens left and right. If x is squared, then it goes up and down. And this equals something times x something. So that's the beginning here. My vertex is 1, negative 4. So the 1 goes with the x, and I do the opposite, x minus 1. And the y value goes here with the y, and I do the opposite, plus 4. Now I just need this value here. So remember, 4p equals what I put in that spot. P I've already found is 2. That's the difference between the focus and the vertex. The x value there, the difference between in that x value is 2. So that means 4 times 2 equals 8. 8. That's all there is to it. Alright, let's go ahead and do another one. This might be, I don't know, retry, I guess. I have a vertex that is negative 2, 4, and my directrix is y equals 1. So I'm going to graph it because this makes much more sense to me to graph it rather than use some other kind of method to figure this out. My directrix is y equals 1. So at y equals 1, that's right there. There's my directrix. Y equals 1. All right, my vertex is negative 2, 4. Negative 2, 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my vertex. Now, my directrix is here, my vertex is here. My parabola will not intersect my directrix. It's always going to go the opposite direction. So that means my parabola is going to look something like that. And the distance right here is 1. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means 1, 2, 3. So my p-value is 3. Okay, so I think that I have all the information I need here. It opens up and down, so that means that x is going to be squared because it opens up or down. My vertex, my x value is negative 2, so that means I say x plus 2. I take the opposite there, equals something y minus 4. Because my y value is 4. So now I just need my directrix. My directrix is 4 times p. P is 3, 12. That's it. All right, let's do one more. And this one, I'm going to give you a chance to pause and do the work yourself. My focus is 2, 1. It's going to open to the left and contains 2, 5. So this is just a random point somewhere that is contained, not totally random, but anyway, this is a point that this parabola contains. Start by graphing this, see what we can do, and then we'll come back together and do this one together. Go. All right, we are back. Okay, so let's start by graphing this a little bit. My focus is 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. There's my focus. And it opens, so it opens to the left. So that means this is going to look something like this. I don't know what my vertex is yet, but I know that 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a point that is contained on this parabola. So we're kind of in a bad spot a little bit. My vertex, though, is my, remember the vertex, which is HK. I know that, well, let's see. So H is 2, my x value, minus P, 1. How do I know that? I know that 1, here's my axis of symmetry. So I know that 1 is going to be the y value of my vertex, because that goes along the axis of symmetry, the focus and the vertex. So my y value is going to be 1. My x value is going to be my focus minus P. How do I know it's going to be minus P? Because doesn't it look like it should be plus P? It's going to be minus P because P is going to be negative because it opens to the left. Okay. So let's start our equation. Squared equals Now I know that this is going to be my y value, and this is going to be x, because it's opening left and right. So y is going to be the one that's squared. I don't have any other information that I can plug in here yet, but we'll find it pretty soon. So I have to say y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. So that's the standard form of this equation. Sorry, this is the most confusing of all of the equations we're going to do, but I think it's worth looking into. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to plug in this point to help me find my answer here. So just like when we were trying to find the equation of a line back in Algebra 1, we're going to do the same kind of thing here. We're going to plug in this point. So this is my x value and this is my y value. So I'm going to say y is 5, and I'm going to say minus k squared equals 4 times p times my x value, which is 2, minus h. Now, there's something else I have to do here. I know that k is 1. I know that k is 1 because that is my y value of my vertex. I also know that h is 2 minus p. 2 minus p because it's opening to the left, so p is going to be negative, and I know that 2 is my value of my vertex. So if I subtract p from it, then I'll get to the right there. Okay, so stick with me here. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 squared is 16 equals 4 times p times, let's do this work in here, right? So I've got 2, we'll write it all here, I guess. 2 minus p. This negative gets distributed in here, and so I end up with 2 minus 2 plus p, which becomes p. So I've got 16 equals 4p times p, so that's 4p squared. Divide both sides by 4, I get 4 equals p squared, take the square root of both sides, p equals 2. Or plus or minus 2, right? So 2, my p-value is 2. So that means that my vertex is 1, 2 away is right there. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So my vertex is 4, 1. So now I put my x value in here, negative 4, my y value, negative 1, my p value is 2, and I know it needs to be negative, so I find my value that goes right here by saying 4 times p, which is negative 2, so I get negative 8. Oop, there we go. Yep. And let's do a bit more. Oh no, that's it. That's all we're going to do. Yay! Congratulations.